Now, this is something we should actually talk about. Damn, bro, I actually wrote all this just to let us know that 6 teams is ass. Thank you, Note. But also, 6-team playoff is just where I'm so over it. No, Note's actually the GOAT for writing all this, but I also don't want to write all this because it's like things that I feel like I've already said or understood, and I just don't like it. Oh, I do like that he's bringing up the narrative part of it, which is fair. I mean, this just kind of sums it up. You basically just win a couple group stages in studio, right? Then you're all the way, like, you just barely have to play, and then you're just playing in front of the biggest stage, and then you get crazy points for it too, you know? I don't know. But I am, like, this 6-team playoff format is garbage, and it needs to go. I'm so sick of seeing it, man. I genuinely think most Counter-Strike fans would be okay with a longer day, if possible, to kind of do what PGL does, where, like, you might just have 10 hours that day. But I don't know. I feel like for fans, it's not... Like, let the fans not watch if they don't want to watch, but also, like, let's not rob them if there's good matchups to be had. Think of how many good matchups happen that we lose in just a group stage that don't mean anything. I don't know. Just kind of sucks. If I'm going to watch CS anyways, then 6 hours to 10 hours doesn't fucking matter. Well, especially if the matchup's good, right? I'm just saying, I feel like I understand why ESL and Blast don't want to have, like, Thursday games, and they're also concerned probably about stacking their days. But I just think that I think Counter-Strike fans love that shit, man. I don't know. What do Counter-Strike fans want? More fucking Counter-Strike. As long as, like, I mean, I get best of 5s being ridiculously long, but we're talking about multiple BO3s broken up across an entire day where people can, you know, well, I guess do most arenas allow re-entry chat? They don't, right? So that could be the one downside. Re-entry is a safety hazard? Yeah, I thought so. That's what I was saying. Is like, you usually can't do a re-entry. So really, you just need to have better accommodations for people to stay in the arena longer, is really what we're getting at here. Neither ESL or Blast have tried running a day with 4 quarterfinals in an arena, and there are options that condense time between games. Yeah, I do worry about cutting things like this out. You know, Note is in here talking about storylines and building it up, and whether people like it or not, the desk is so important in between games to start building the narratives. I think people underestimate how important that stuff is. Having no desk in between games just for the sake of like pushing more games, I think is rough. Multiple setups. See, I do like maybe having like a setup where they can have people like somehow rotate in and out, but I imagine that's an initial upfront cost. It's pretty massive. But if a TO can figure out a cost efficient way to have the other teams setting up while the other teams play, that would be insane. Like that to me would be how you do it. No, I don't like the idea of doing double streams for playoff games. Yeah, I mean, like, I know some people, like, don't like hearing the casters, and, like, people will be like, oh, dude, Yanko, be quiet, or, like, they'll be like, yo, dude, Pimp, you're toxic, whatever, like, but people just constantly misunderstand that a lot of those talking points basically fuel the conversation for the next week going forward and connects you to the next event. A 15-minute desk segment is fine, but, like, it goes for 30 to 40 minutes. Usually the desk segment is longer because of how long it takes for players to set up. So that's what he's talking about here, is like having a system where they can have the other players setting up while the other games go on. The 30 to 40 minutes is not for the casters. It is for the players. Like, players, even if they have their solid states set up, which they do, you still don't want a player playing for millions of dollars on the line, or $1 million, whatever you want to say, sitting down, putting in their SSD, and within like 2 minutes connecting to the server and playing. I don't like that. I wouldn't want to do that. If I'm a competitive player trying to put my best foot forward, I would like a little bit of time, just like move my mouse around, get a little bit comfortable, make sure my setup is good. So that's why the extended breaks and playoffs happen, is because there's only 2 setups on the stage, and then when the players are rotating in and out, you're waiting for the other players to get warmed up, like get comfortable, get set up. Yeah, I don't know. I think like the easiest way is figuring out some sort of stage setup. You know, obviously they said rotating. I just imagine for ESL and Blast, that's a huge cost to bear to probably build something like that. And if it is rotating or like however they do it, man, I can only imagine. Yeah, like that probably takes up more space, so less seating. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'm sure somebody can do it. Like I'm sure there's like they can creatively come up with ideas. It's just then like how do they make it cost effective for themselves? Which then what people might not like is if I'm ESL or Blast, is if I'm creating something like that, I would then try to make it up in ticket prices which I think if they were transparent about why things move or like why things are done, I think people would understand, right? Like if you said, hey, these tickets now for Cologne are $50 more upfront because we're adding another best of 3 on the day, then that could work, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be like how you make up for it, I guess. Perfect World did it. Perfect World did it because that was 1, the major. 2, it was center stage. 3, there was no fans even remotely close to the stage. ESL and Blast both like having the fans as close as possible, which I think is cool. Like I think 3Click mentioned it in one of his videos of going to Cologne. Something that is cool is being able to like have some accessibility to the players, right? Like I think that is like putting them in the center of the stage very disconnected and far away from the crowd is cool, but yeah, I don't know. Comparing it to the major is, I don't think, a very good change. That's enough of 16 playoff. 16 playoff is bad, but I imagine trying to create the day with that many BO3s in it for quarters will be tough. So I don't know. I would like to see 16 playoff disappear entirely. I do not like it. I think it's tricky because I say this, and as a fan, I have unrealistic expectations that I do want the events to have different formats. So actually, I think the best of 3 Swiss that PGL has been doing, I really like that format like a lot. I also would say like there's very little wrong with it, but also I don't want that for every event. I actually don't want that for every event because then it starts feeling monotonous. So I feel completely like I admit that I feel like I have unrealistic expectations. I want you to not have the same format as the others, and I don't want you to put 6 teams in playoffs, and I want you to figure it out. That's not my job, but this sucks. But you know, that's why they do what they do. That's on them, you know?